So Sony just announced the PDT-FP1, and what is it? It's a live streaming device that's for events, weddings, corporates, congregations, sports, news, and it's the size of your phone. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, can't my phone do all of this? Well, does your phone have an operating system? Can it run apps? Can it record? Does it have dual SIM?
Bruh.
Well, maybe it has all that, but Sony is different, and in this video I'm gonna go over the differences. Alright, so I'm going to list out things that make this device different than a phone, okay? And these minor differentiators may make all the difference in the world. So starting off, the PDT-FP1 cannot take calls. The PDT-FP1 can automatically switch SIMs for network prioritization. The PDT-FP1 has HDMI input. The PDT-FP1 has a LAN port for direct connection to some upper tier cameras. It has dual USB-C input, one for data and one for power. It has a built-in Q20 thread with locking monitor style mount. It has a built-in fan, active cooling, because let's face it, when you're using one of these in more stressful scenarios, when you're shooting outside in bright daylight, this thing can actually overheat while it's recording to the media. It has 8 gigs of RAM with 256 internal storage and takes micro SD up to 1 terabyte. The PDT-FP1 has an OLED display. It comes in at 308 grams and it will retail for $10.99. Well, here's my take on the device. It's very similar to a phone, but it's not. It's more like a hotspot on steroids. The difference is minor, but in practice, it could be a big deal. When I have a hotspot, it's quite different from my phone. Obviously, my hotspot, it can't do anything. And this device, similarly, it can do some very instructional things. Can it sideload Android apps? I'm not sure. But if I have like this hotspot and this laptop compared to just this phone, I mean, which one do you think is going to be more productive? Granted, it's not comparing a laptop, but if I have a dedicated device that is for work, it's likely that that device is going to be a lot more productive. I'm not going to be tempted to go on Facebook for kitten photos. I'm just going to be using it all the time for work purposes. So I think that Sony having this restriction, making a device very similar to the Xperia phones, maybe that did not sell so well, so Sony repurposed it into this type of device. I do see that this device is kind of appealing for professionals that stream a lot. It is very appealing. For people that want ease of use, it's very appealing because this thing has the LAN port, it has the HDMI, and has the USB-C. So it has multiple ways of inputting your footage or your images to your device quickly. It bridges the gap a lot compared to, taking a phone and transferring it here, turning on this app, and then having this app connect to Wi-Fi to the phone and then send. It bridges a lot of that because it can direct connect to your camera and connect to even cameras outside of it. I mean, HDMI is universal. It doesn't have to be a Sony camera to interface with this device. The device does go for $10.99, which is on the price of the upper tier phones. However, it doesn't have a camera, it doesn't have a way to make calls. It just has a great antenna system and the ability to switch networks, act as a hotspot, send your media where it needs to go, and do it quickly. And while it could record, the fact that it's micro SD means that it's not going to be the highest recording levels. I wouldn't expect it to do 60 or 120 frames per second on the existing media, that is. Maybe you could do it to the internal, but that's limited to 256. Anyhow, what do you think about this device? Is it cool enough to replace your hotspot or your monitor or your internal recorder? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share. See you in the next one. Take care.